Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 5th annual joint DOCTRC retreat here in beautiful Bethesda. And on behalf of the two resource centers, I wanted to welcome everyone. So the two resource centers, one is the Michigan Pittsburgh V's Group, the PI is Dave Kong, and then the C doctor, the PIs are Jeff Lowe's and myself, Yang Chai. So it's advancing here, but not advancing on the clicker. It is clicking. All right, no. Got it, thank you. So this is really, the work, it really takes a village, right? And you can see all these different universities represented on the screen. And we have been working together since the beginning of this consortium being just continue to build a network of different experts and then help to support our ITP team development. And of course, none of this would be possible without the support from NIDCR and also our advisors and partners and our ITP teams, all the members of the ITP team. And today, the guests, NIH program people, we have quite a few NIH program directors from other institutes joining us. Welcome, and I want to really showcase how this program has built this network of experts that can easily be used for other tissue regeneration. And of course, our FDA colleagues who have been really helping us with a lot of the program development, and we appreciate all of that support. So how did the DOCTRC program get started? And this, basically you can look at on this diagram, how from 2008 all the way to 2021, this is how much NIH has invested in a tissue regeneration program. And roughly it's about $1 billion per year. And then when we look at NIDCR, so roughly about 10% of the annual budget has been used to support the tissue regeneration program. But when we first started the DOCTRC program, and the Institute did an analysis, looked at how many of these grants are actually helping the basic discovery and then translate that into clinical practice. It turns out less than 25% of these tissue engineering biomaterial studies have generated IP, and then only very few actually continue to go on with IND and ideally IDE filing. So that basically really helped to set the stage that we really have a critical need to help to turn the basic discovery into translational and then ultimately clinical adoption. And you have recently heard from NIH Director Monica's talk how important it is to translate NIH-supported study into clinical practice. So this is really in alignment with that. And so from the very beginning, the DOCTRC program is basically set up to there's some technical issues. Okay, great. Thank you. Are you advancing it? Does it work? But it's not showing here. All right, can you move that bar away? Sorry about that. Okay, so from the very beginning, the DOCTRC program is set up to serve as the nation's consortium for accelerating regenerative therapies for dental, oral, and craniofacial tissue towards clinical adoption. I think the way the program was set up really is very innovative. From the very beginning, we went through a team building process. That was stage 1, during which 10 teams were selected. And from there, when we started with the stage 2, okay, now it works. So don't touch anything, just please. And during stage 2, where the 2 resource centers were formed basically by uniting several of these institutions that were in the planning stage, working together. And then we went through the process of selecting ITP teams. These are interdisciplinary translational projects. And then we brought together basic science, clinical, and regulatory science experts to help to select these teams and then support them with their program development. So that was from 2017 to 2020. And then right in the middle of pandemic, then we started our stage 3. And when we started stage 3, DCR basically told us, no, we want you to down select these teams. The ones that are making progress, move them forward towards FDA filing. And the ones that are not going to make it, so we went through a down selection process. So currently, as you will hear in the next 2 days, then you'll hear from 16 different teams presenting their work towards their progress to the IND and IDE filing and 510K, and also their scientific progress. And then this DOCTRC program, the 3rd stage will run from 2020 to 2025. And then looking beyond 2025, we're also very excited to look at the programs such as APEX and others, how we can continue to utilize this network of experts that we brought together to help to support the basic discovery towards clinical translation. So how do we measure success within the DOCTRC program? Each project has very specific milestones that help to define what needs to be accomplished. And then they have go and no-go benchmarks. And then at this point, the FDA interaction is the most important part of our program development. Basically, quite a few you will hear from our ITP teams that they have had their pre-sub meetings, and then we have a couple of IND and have been successfully approved. And then, so these interacting meetings have really helped to educate our ITP teams. What are the important things to work with to get things ready for an FDA review? And we're really glad to have our FDA colleagues here to have this interaction. And then the next step would be the investigator-initiated clinical trials, and then eventually commercialization to really benefit patient care. So, over the past 7 years, the DOCTRC program have reviewed more than 220 different ITP projects and awarded 44 of them. And then currently there are 16 active projects that are making important progress towards their FDA filing. And when you look at the overall composition of our projects, there are projects related to bone and salivary gland tissue regeneration, soft tissue that includes nerve, skin, muscle, and then wound healing, and also dental and then periodontal tissue regeneration. In terms of the regulatory pathway, it's also quite diverse. You know, some of the projects are going through 510K, other IDE, IND, or de novo PMA. And then in terms of the projects where they originated from, and you can see a lot of them are from the participating institutions. These are labeled as internal, and also we have external academic, and then also from companies that are for-profit. So it's a quite diverse group of projects from different places. And then overall, all of our projects, 63% of them have had formal FDA interactions, and then with pre-sub meetings going through, and also with their FDA interaction. And more than 90% of our projects have had IP issued. So this is really remarkable when you compare this, as Dave will share with you next, how this compares to the regular R1 supported projects. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dave, who will finish up with the rest of the opening remarks. So we have to use this, not advancing on the screen.
Okay. Okay, thanks, Yang. And let me extend my welcome to everyone here in person or virtually. So to continue, I want to talk a little bit about some of our achievements, more than Yang alluded to, and quantify some of these achievements. So to date, there's been 2 INDs filed, one of which was approved, 2 510Ks filed, and 1 product has made it to market. So we're really proud of that. There's been over 60 follow-on grants, almost 70 million in follow-on funding, and 17 and counting SBIRs and STTRs. So to sync this data with the sessions for today, the first session will focus on interactions with the FDA, and we'll hear from 4 ITP teams on their experiences and lessons learned. The second session will focus on how to garner follow-on funding to continue preclinical development, and most especially for clinicals. So we've calculated that there's been over a 2.5-fold return on investment. In other words, looking at the dollars invested in ITP projects and what the return was in terms of follow-on funding. A couple of things to note in this data. Probably between 50 and 60% of the follow-on funding was non-federal. So the ITPs are getting weaned off of NIH dollars. Secondly, the efficiency is greater than an R01 model, not just the raw outcomes of FDA filings, but the efficiency. And what we mean by that is, if we take a couple of ITPs, if we consider 1 year of R01 funding, $250,000, then between 2 and 3 years of funding, $500 to $600K invested, resulted in a 510K filed and a product on the market. About 5 years of R01 funding, maybe over $1 million, resulted in a successful IND. So not only are the numbers exceeding what the R01 model has yielded, but the efficiency in terms of dollars is quite remarkable. To comp our program against other programs, the program we had the most data for that's probably most comparable is the NIH REACH program. And comparing those numbers to the DOCTRC numbers in terms of time, projects, investigators trained, academic investigators getting trained in how to do translational research, startup companies, follow-on funding, and particularly SBIRs, those numbers are equal or exceeding the REACH program. We don't have data on AFIRM. ARPA-H is too new, but I think the investment in ARPA-H projects like Nitro is probably adding a zero to the DOCTRC investment. So I just want to highlight the follow-on funding, reiterate that there's a weaning off of federal dollars, and our hit rate on SBIRs and STTRs is about 80%. The national average, I believe, is about 20%. So we think one of the messages for today is that our model is flexible and can be scaled and translated to other areas. So the support network we've created, the ability to bridge the valley of death, our infrastructure can be customized to other programs like the NIDCR Impact Program and other areas of regenerative medicine outside of the doc space. We have the resources in place. We leverage CTSAs for regulatory support for helping planning clinical trials. We have a menu of pre-qualified CROs and other vendors. And the expertise network, the preclinical studies, is the third session this afternoon, the lessons we've learned about preclinical models. We also have a training element, particularly how to take one's academic hat off and put on a translational hat. So the message is really the infrastructure we established is flexible and applicable to other areas of regenerative medicine, other areas in the doc space, not restricted to regenerative medicine. So another example of the flexibility, the dental, oral, and craniofacial indications for our collective ITPs are shown in the left column. But if we flip things 90 degrees, we have everything in place to extend out what we're doing to the broader musculoskeletal area. We have projects that interact with and try to treat inflammation, neurological problems, congenital malformations, trauma. General wound healing, even GI problems. So I think we can take our operations and structure and flip them and look at a broader array of biomedical problems. So the schedule for today, we'll have the 3 sessions focusing on interactions with the FDA, follow-on funding for product development, and preclinical models. We'll also have a couple of breakout sessions talking about lessons learned and how to move forward with more efficiency based on those lessons learned. Tomorrow will be progress updates from each of the 16 ITP teams. Then we'll have a closed door session evaluating said progress. So a couple of housekeeping notes. If you're remote, please mute your microphone and use the chat function. Any technical issues, please message Jiao Wei or Pu Li. And again, a big thank you for everyone who's helped with this consortium over the years. Thank you for your attendance. Welcome to our guests, and most especially a shout out to the operations team at Pittsburgh, at Michigan, and the various C-Doctor affiliates. This is all the work behind the scenes that went into planning the meeting and pulling the meeting off today. So thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce Jennifer Webster-Syriac, Acting Director of NIDCR, who graciously came to say a few words about the DOCTRC program from her perspective and the Institute's perspective.